just like say a weekend. So put my screen share up here for you. And then hopefully everyone can see that. So this is June 15th, if you can believe that, of the year 2024. That was Mr. Roberts there on the screen. Used to be the vice president of General Motors, one of our faithful, loyal, senior members with us. Now, obviously, these logos that you're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, they're household names, right? So Zoom obviously got their claim to fame because of the pandemic, because they were really, if you can believe it, they were only about 10 million subscribers around the world pre-pandemic. And then during the pandemic, they scaled to 300 million. So they obviously are the biggest virtual conferencing, but by no stretch of the imagination are they the best. And then we get into the big boys, right? YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. They all have a billion people on their platforms. And then a little company that a lot of people never heard of, because Kajabi. And that's, if you're a coach, if you've got content to sell, they are pretty much the king of that world. And they have 85 million customers, but no one in Kajabi can be free. That is a paid subscription. And their plan started at $150 a month. Now, here's the good news. You want to be smart in this day and age. So, you know, technology is radically transformed, if you will, how quickly information can be accessed. You know, when I grew up, there weren't any computers because I'm old, right? I remember when, you know, we were excited about voicemail and then fax machines. The kids today, I say that with respect and love, they're growing up with a phone in their hand at like 3 years old. I got a little grandson, and he's in preschool, and you know he walks around with his mom's cell phone like he owns it, and they grow up with technology. And so we created a platform that includes all of this technology in one place, right? The one online platform that'll do it all. So you can perform multiple tasks at your fingertips. So you can jump right from a virtual conferencing like or broadcasting like we're on right now. You can go do information to your groups. You can find instant leads by pressing just buttons, and the software delivers the people that fit your demographic needs in a nanosecond. You can do your social media, and you can have your premium content available, and it's all integrated with our system. So again, this is what, you know, if you have a BeeKonnected account, if you will, if you're a member, this is your homepage. This is what it looks like. It's like a Netflix style. And isn't it funny? I can say Netflix, and everybody on this channel here today knows what I'm talking about. And so at your fingertips, you can perform all these tasks. So it's incredibly simple. The second thing, it's very affordable. Of course, it starts at free, and then as your business scales and you have more needs, we offer more advanced technology. And then the bottom line of all entrepreneurs is they want to become the most efficient they can be, because time is a commodity money can't buy, right? So they want to be smart in their own businesses and get more things done in less time. Now, just in last month on the 15th, we launched our very own first world's ever integrated, this is important to understand, integrated virtual conferencing platform. It is a game changer. So as I expressed to you in the beginning, there are links on the side. They're here now, and they'll also be here if you're watching a replay, and they will be live in either case. And so with this integrated virtual conferencing platform, we're designed for the business community. I know, like, the Zooms of the world scaled very hard because the whole world was in a lockdown, but a lot of things are missing in this, what I consider old technology, right? I think you would agree. We all go get our smartphones updated every 1 to 2 years, but a lot of people are using software that was invented like a decade ago. And that's really kind of ancient. So you got live links, replays, your premium content. We developed a patented software called P3 system, and there's too much technology to go over in this quick overview. Now, the P3 system was specifically designed for affiliate programs and the direct sales world, network marketing, MLM, whatever you want to call it. Now, there's a lot of those people out there. I know them very well because I spent 3 decades of my life building teams around the world. And so this software allows them to do a virtual conference the right way. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that in the realm of doing a live presentation and say in a hotel conference uh, office, people are encouraged to bring their prospects to go meet the big leader, right? The one who's documented their success. They have the wisdom, the knowledge. But online, when you want to talk to that person, they cannot close the sale for the individual. They have to say the dreaded words, get back to the person who invited you. And then their conversions drop like a rock. We got a video with our chief content officer and our chief marketing officer that explains this in detail. And so with this system, they can instantly sell or sign up the entire database of the people watching. And it doesn't matter where they come from because the software will give credit to the person who invited the person on the webinar. So that is truly a game changer in that industry. Now you might be saying, well, I've never heard of you with all this amazing stuff. Well, there's a reason for that, right? Because we're not considered a startup anymore because we started in February 2020 where we launched our first software using AI technology called Connection Generator. And then we were wholesaling Zoom, and then we replaced them with another company, and then we decided to build our own. And it was in August of 2023 that we made a big move, and we hired our chief marketing officer, which I'll get into in just a second. And then from there, we became very aggressive. So, new websites, new taskbar, all the new software got implemented, and we're just wrapping up a couple more weeks of beta, and we're going to take on the world. So Frank Fausto Jr., right? New CMO here at BeeKonnected. If you haven't heard that name, I'm sure you heard the company that he helped build called Google. Now, put it in the chat there if anybody here doesn't know somebody that doesn't know the name Google. And Frank was the chief, training officer, if you will, from Silicon Valley, where he grew up and where Google's at, all the way to Singapore and all the English speaking languages, countries in the world. He founded the Google Channel Partner Program. Now, why is this important? Well, in the realm of business, I think you'd agree if you're an entrepreneur, marketing is key. Marketing is incredibly important. And so he's going to get the name BeeKonnected out there to the world like nobody else can. I've watched him work prior to hiring him, and I know that he helped a billionaire who hired him establish 1.7 million active users. Those are customers in a whopping 90 days. Now, wouldn't you like your business to scale up and have 1.7 million customers in 3 months? But that's what Mr. Fausto is capable of with the right marketing budget. So as I'm winding down here, before we bring on our special guest. So remember, in any undertaking, if you're going to go global, right? If you're going to have a product or service that's going to go around the world, there are certain types of people who engage at certain levels. Now, in the beginning, there's the tech enthusiasts, and that's where we're coming out of that part of it. Those are the innovators. These are the people that are very brave. They like technology. We're in the visionaries. These are the early adopters. And when we get through the early adopters, we'll be about 10 million people strong, and then we will go in, unless we're bought out by like a Microsoft or somebody like that, we'll go through an IPO. And now this all matters if you're one of the beginning people in the innovators or early adopter section, because you have an opportunity to capitalize on a few things financially I'll discuss later in the presentation. And then you get into the early majority, the late majority, and then of course there's always the skeptics. And so that is the graph of how things kind of roll out. So now that you've been brought up to speed, where's BeeKonnected, where is it coming from, where's it at now, and where's it going? What are some of the technologies? I want to talk a little bit here before I bring this person on, because this is just an amazing individual. And I've got to work with some of the biggest people in the world when it comes to marketing and growing businesses. My first mentor made it to #1 on the Inc. 500 list. I learned a lot from that individual, because obviously to have 27,000% growth in your first year and accomplish the status of #1 fastest growing company in the United States, I think you would agree that's a pretty incredible individual. But he was only the beginning of several people that I got to learn from. Now, this individual, right, that we're going to be bringing on, the leader of BeeKonnected, if you will, is just somebody that has one of the most incredible mindsets of anybody I've ever met. Always positive, always upbeat, always looks for the solution, never complains. and is just a pleasure to work with. And that matters, right? Because, being in business with people, it's like an everyday, all day event, 365 days a year after year. And so this is a person that's created and sold multiple businesses. She used to be the CEO and the creator of the Public Speakers Association. And she gets about a 7-year itch, and then she gets, bored with what she's doing, and she wants to go and do something new. And thank goodness she called me when that 7-year itch was happening, if you will. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, if I can get back to you all, I'd like to introduce the CEO and of BeeKonnected, Ms. Tanya Hoffman.
Forgot where my buttons were. Hello, everyone. So funny. How are you today, Mr. Reed?
I am doing wonderful. I have my favorite Tommy Bahama shirt on, getting ready for our balmy 108-degree day here in Las Vegas.
I know you were talking about, where we are, where we're going. I remember in 2007 that so much of what I was doing was so backwards, not really backwards, but I just didn't know. And then I got a chance to meet a billionaire. His name is Bill. And one of the things that he really set me down with and made me stop and think, and I was so honored that he took time to, help me out because, I was just nobody. And he was like, oh my gosh, most people spend all their time trying to figure out what their business card should look like. Or back then, most people didn't even have a website back in 2007. But he's like, they spend all the time on things that don't really matter for their business, instead on the most important part, which is income. And he taught me that everybody should have multiple income streams in one thing that you're doing. So that way you're maximizing every opportunity, every day, every connection that you have. So here we are this many years later, and it's exciting to help so many people create those.
Tanya, I think it's very important. A lot of people need mentors, right? I definitely know I did, because when I got in business for myself, I didn't make a dime for, I don't know how long it was, until I went to a seminar and I got to meet one of the first millionaires of my life. And the wisdom that he shared with me was incredible. And I went out immediately and just made more money in a week than I ever made in a month. And then I was finding myself down the line making more money in a month than I ever made in a year. And it's just, I don't worship money. Obviously, I live in Thailand as well as America. But I love what Zig Ziglar says about money. He says it's not the most important thing, but it does rank right up there with oxygen.
Exactly.
You've obviously had another amazing week. I know we had some very important meetings this week. The field, I know one of your special guests from last week did a great job. So what was that all about?
Yeah, Mr. Harrison, if y'all didn't get to see last week's, we've got the recording, so you can always watch the replays. But oh my gosh, Ray Harrison knows so many amazing people, and he's brought to the table to BeeKonnected someone that has what is like 1.4 million affiliates. But what I was loving is that he's doing everything just like you. You help so many people. And especially with children. He has a whole foundation for children, I think in Central America or something. But he loves BeeKonnected. He's like, this is where we've been looking for, is a solution. And I think that's where a lot of times people miss the boat, is people really need solutions nowadays. It'll make a difference like never before.
Okay, well, I know you, because we want to move along, we got a lot of content to cover. So I'll bring up the next couple slides. So you have some people that you're bringing to the table today, again, because I think the proof in the pudding is not, obviously we're drinking our own Kool-Aid because we, help finance and put the whole company together, and it's like our little baby. And I don't think there's a parent out there that doesn't think their kid's the cutest kid ever, right? So this is our kid. So, but the truth or the proof, so to speak, is how do the people feel that are here every day, working the system, doing their webinars, forming their groups, communicating, creating their content, using the platforms? What are they saying? And so Oh, I hit the chat button. I'm like you. Got to get used to my own button. That's not going to show anything except the people chattering. All right, so let me get back here. Okay, so who is your first guest?
Oh my gosh, this woman, I love that you gave her this incredible nickname of Mighty Ma because she is on fire. She is not even close to saying, I've had enough, right? She is all on, all in. She's been a mortgage broker. She's a incredible mother. She has done so much in her, young life that I am so impressed with her tenacity, I guess it is that willingness to get out there and just do and then see what happens from there. So without further ado, everyone, Miss Angela Ma.
Hello, everyone. What an awesome introduction, Tanya. I'm like, oh, just grinning from ear to ear. So thank you for having me. I enjoy BeeKonnected so much, especially as a new entrepreneur, and the opportunity you guys have given us is incredible. And so that's why I've gone all in on BeeKonnected, because it is helping me grow my business. And I'm excited by connecting with you guys. Like your leadership, yours and JR's leadership is helping me grow, helping me learn, and I'm just getting better every day from it.
Oh, I love that. I know, one of the things that I've just been people are like, wow, you've got like a vision of wanting not only to get into our VIP Elite, which we'll talk about later what that really is, but you've got like a mission. What is your mission for that?
At first I was like, there's no chance. I do not know 10,000 people. My network is tiny. But then I was like, well, why not me? And so I was like, let's go find some influencers, some people that have already built their following, that have already great leadership skills. And then I have an opportunity to get into that VIP Elite and have equity in a company this amazing. That was mind blowing. I'm like, how would little old me, that's just a mortgage broker, have an opportunity like that? So I was like, let's go. Let's be all in and shoot for it. Because again, why not me?
How many influencers do you want on your team?
I want 12. JR had this awesome number about 12. And I was like, okay, well, why can't I have 12 influencers? And I think I've gotten 3 so far. So I got a couple more to get.
There you go. There you go. Now, I know we had this great conversation because you're just like fearless. And I asked you what is people interested in when you're talking to these influencers? What makes them go, ooh, tell me more?
Yeah, everybody wants passive income. And if they're already doing webinars, if they're already promoting their brand, and then they can make passive income by just doing it on a simple platform, their eyes are blown away, or their minds are blown away, because they're like, oh, I can do what I'm already doing and make additional income. And that brings us back to where you said the billionaire needed multiple streams of income. And this is just another easy way to do that.
Yeah, I've known so many people, from people who are struggling all the way to these billionaires, and every one of them is like, oh, I need another income stream. I don't care how much they're making, they're always like, yeah. But yet there's so many people that are afraid to talk to people about money. And I know you were like, well, that's what I do every day.
It's true. As a mortgage broker, I talk to people about their credit, their income. I know pretty much their whole life story when I'm helping them with their mortgage. So talking income and ways to make additional income isn't uncomfortable for me. So I think it was really easy for me to transition into teaching others how to make income through affiliate income. And that's one of the top ways to make income in 2024, I think was reported by Forbes, was affiliate income. And I'm like, why not do it on an incredible platform I'm already using?
Right? It seems like a no-brainer.
It did.
And one of the things that I think you keep bringing up too is that the people that you're talking to have these incredible personalities, and they've got these massive followings that they really are looking at a way to kind of connect with them more and then monetize that.
Yes, they're putting out all this content, all this amazing information. It's like, why not be able to monetize it easier? And some of the other platforms, they make it really challenging. Like you have to have X amount of following. So somebody like myself that didn't have a lot of following and I could see I could start monetizing quickly, that was another great bonus point for being on BeeKonnected because it was just simple to start monetizing easily. I know some of the other platforms, you need thousands and thousands of followers before you can really monetize. Here, you could start day one.
Right. I know one of the gentlemen that you're talking to from Armenia, he's like, oh my gosh, YouTube is taking half of his income. Is that right?
That is so crazy that he is putting in all this work, but this massive corporation is taking 50% of his profits. And I'm like, it was nice. It was refreshing to see that you guys aren't doing that. So the content creators, they can really make the income off of all of their content that they're creating.
All right. Well, I so appreciate you being here today and being on the show. Thank you so much for being part of BeeKonnected.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Fantastic.
You know, Tanya, isn't it funny that when we're talking to CEOs and people that have large corporations, they always ask the same question. And it's always the same, like, wow factor. Because I know when we were talking to the CEO of this company that has over 1 million affiliates, you know, I just kind of blew by something, and he put the brakes on and made me back up the car and kind of go over that again. He's like, because we mentioned that somebody was getting half of their revenue taken from one of the big companies, and he goes, well, wait a minute, how much do you take?
Yeah, he made us stop right there. And you saw his whole facial expression too. He's like, wait a moment, this isn't making any sense. What do you mean you don't take anything?
Now they do webinars because they're an affiliate program. So they do webinars every single day, and all their people do webinars every single day. And then again, I'm blown by it because, you know, you tell the same story, you know, 1,000 times, 10,000 times. Sometimes you forget what's important. You're just trying to get through and we had limited time. And then I said, yeah, you can have this, that, and the other thing for $50. He said, what?
He was like, well, and you can see him trying to process that it was only $50. He's like, this, what?
For everything.
For everything.
For the replacement of a Kajabi, the Zoom and 1,000 attendees. He went through the whole thing. He's like, what? Can I get one of those? Can I try it out? And we're like, well, sure. We'll set you up. Not a problem. But you have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, when you're dealing with people of that magnitude, do not try to sell them. That is the worst mistake you can make. You got to let them make the decision. So you got to give them the information that they need to process. That's soon. The check came in and off real too quick. Okay, I know you have another special guest, so let me get back to this again. I'll be glad when the other feature gets in here. I can just click a button. Okay, and who is your next very special guest?
Yeah, this woman just blows me away. Not only is he a huge part of our bonus pool, which we'll be talking about later, but he's been in the IT realm for, I think he said 13, 14 years or so. And he came in here just, I want to be all in. And I love those kind of people that don't just start off with, you know, okay, let me put my toe in. No, he's like, okay, I'm jumping in. I'm, you know, on the top, you know, diving in. And he's got such an incredible family and such an incredible family man as well, but real professional. And I want to introduce everyone to Mr. Brandon McDowell today.
Awesome. Thanks, Tanya.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Yeah, it's the weekend. I was out cutting the grass this morning. I'm glad to be here. It's a beautiful day.
You have to do manual labor too?
I like it.
Okay, good. Yeah. So I know you came in and you've been in part of kind of the, you know, programming or the IT world for a while.
Yeah, so I've been in IT now, like you said, 13, 14 years. When I was starting to think about it, I couldn't believe it had been quite that long. But I was working in testing initially, and then I helped develop software and make enhancements and stuff like that. And so I work with the business to kind of understand what they need. And jumping into this, I saw this for the first time 2 iterations ago when the website was still orange and blue and had the normal scroll up and down. And even at that point, I was impressed because everything just kind of worked. Everything was good to go from, what was it, 2020 to now?
Right.
I still felt like to develop all of that in such a short amount of time, it looked professional then, I felt like, and it was already working. And so I jumped in, like you were saying, with the bonus pool. And I jumped in a little bit and I was like, yeah, this seems good. And as things developed and it got to a new iteration, I bought a little more of the bonus pool, and then it kept going, and it was just all kind of downhill.
Yeah. Until you end up owning 4% of the whole bonus pool.
I know. It got a little out of hand.
You know, I think that's what a lot of times people aren't in kind of your realm, and they expect everything to be, you know, pristine and perfect. And to me, it's about how can we get things moving as fast as possible. And
Sure.
and so when you're, you know, kind of looking at it from your side, you know, what's some of the things that jumped out? Because I know you used to be in network marketing for a while.
Yeah. So from the IT side of things, what jumped out to me is things just kind of worked. And even if there were defects or issues, those little niggles were fixed within like 24 to 48 hours, which was quick turnaround, which was great. And then from an IT perspective, when I first got started, I know you guys were talking about the P3 system a little bit earlier. That wasn't part of BeeKonnected yet. But when they introduced it, in retrospect, I was like, I don't know why nobody came up with this sooner, because this makes so much sense. And so for the P3 system, if you're familiar with network marketing or direct sales, you go to, let's say, a weekly seminar, or you're meeting with some sort of an upline or a leader, and they're saying, get back to the person who invited you to this presentation. And so when you say get back to the person who invited you, a lot of times the leader did all of the work to get people excited and wanting to join, but then when they get back to the person who invited them, that momentum might be lost, or maybe that other person isn't as senior and don't know how to close the sale. And so when I saw the buttons and how the P3 system worked, it just made so much sense. And I just thought about how much momentum could be gained, one, doing it with the link, but then 2, having the ability to do it online, so you don't have to have people traveling across the country to meet one-on-one necessarily.
Yeah, it's definitely saves a lot of time now.
Yeah. Seriously.
I think that's one of the things that, you know, with the pandemic that really brought to life is, I mean, I don't have to, you know, drive someplace anymore. I could actually just do everything online and reach more people.
Yeah. I appreciate the aspect of having like the personal touch, like that, being able to actually see somebody face to face. So you can do that online, but you don't need to necessarily meet in person as often, which is nice.
Right. Exactly. Well, I so appreciate that you're part of us in such a big way. And thank you for being on the show today.
I appreciate you thinking of me to bring me on.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Everyone, make sure you connect with Brandon McDowell and Miss Angela Ma on the platform.
You know, Tanya, I see a theme here, right? All these people are obviously entrepreneurs, and they have a vision of wanting to do great things. But I also notice they're very key on their family, right? Great fathers, great mothers. We know that's very important. And then sometimes, you know, the kids will be running around and they'll start to apologize. I'm like, dude, that's the funnest part of my job, right? Is to get to see people having a real life, and we can talk business. So what I'm saying is they're not fake. Right.
Exactly. I know. It's incredible to me.
Okay, so we got some of the important topics. If you've been with us for a while or you're brand new, the next session. Whew. You know, I had only one Starbucks this morning. I don't think it was enough. But sometimes I have too many. My mouth doesn't coordinate with my brain. Money is such a weird thing. It was the biggest challenge. You know, people get excited about the product like there's no tomorrow, and then we have a button with crickets on it. And when you start talking about money, that's what happens sometimes to the conversation is people get nervous, they get uncomfortable. And you have to understand that, profit in a company means you're doing something right, where the customer wants to trade their money for a product or service, because that's what it is. It's a commodity that you exchange for goods and services. And what you decided to do was be a disruptor.
Right.
Because I was watching some stuff on, I watch a lot of the financial channels. I don't like the politics, but I like to hear about what company is doing well, what company's not doing well, for people that invest in stocks, and that the difference. Anyway, they brought up a topic of the big tech, right, which is the world we're about to participate in. And they said, you take the top tech companies, they have a combined net worth. There's not all of them, just the top ones. They have a combined net worth of $13.5, wait for it, $trillion.
Exactly.
See, crickets. Okay. Somebody saved me with a ooh. 13 trillion. The United States of America is like 50 trillion in debt. But yet the big tech companies that are not really that old, because this country is hundreds of years old, they're maybe dozens of years old, and they're worth 13.5 trillion. And my question is, how much of that do they give back? And that's what I love what you decided to do, which was become a disruptor and let the people participate in the revenue stream that you're creating. Yes, you can do premium content. We don't touch your money. It passes right through us. It goes right to your swipe account and right into your bank account. We don't touch your premium content. If you're selling a course, if you're monetizing your own membership, if you want to form a special group and charge a fee, that's all your money. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the money that we make. We're giving a percentage of that back to the people that build their networks with us. Now, it's only a matter of time. 25 years ago, when I saw the cell phone industry start to erupt, I jumped in with both feet, took one location and turned it into 200 cell phone store locations, because I understood, A, it was residual, and B, it was a big trend. And there was a point in my analysis, I conceded the win before we even made any money, because everything lined up.
Exactly.
And I look at what you've done is you've created a new seat at the table of the big tech platforms, and it's only now a matter of time, because we beat them in every capacity, is better technology, simpler interface with the end user. You have the monetization of the network, and then most importantly, you put all the applications in one place, so you don't have to have like 9 passwords, which drives me crazy. I have a little black book here because I'm afraid if I lose my cell phone, I'll be locked out of everything. So I have all these passwords all over the place. And the funny thing, Tanya, is the other day we had a little glitch, and you called the IT people up, and he's like, "What's your password?" I'm like, and I only have to know one. Like, oh,
thank goodness you only have to know one.
Of course, I went to my little black book and I found it, but it was funny, right? I got all my passwords for Google and Microsoft and all the rest, and then here I own half your company, and then the IT guy's like, "What's your password?" And I felt like such a rookie. I'm like, I don't know. It goes to show you don't have to be smart.
Well, it's always interesting to me because I have a friend that called and she was telling me about this huge women's group that she's wanting to introduce. And I was like, fantastic. And, they can monetize their group. And she goes, "Oh, they're already millionaires," as if that's all that those people want. They're like, "Oh, they're done." I'm like, no. The more money you make, the more expenses you have. You've always got to be making more.
Those are the people that will help you grow very, very quickly. They like winning more than most.
Yeah.
Okay, so to round out our show here today, this is a question, because a lot of people, they're trying to compartmentalize, they're trying to rationalize, they're trying to think, who do I talk to? Who would be a good candidate? So how many people can benefit from your platform?
You mean the world? It's always interesting to me how people are like, "Oh, but I only know 3 people." You're like, okay, look at all these people around the world that needs BeeKonnected.
You know, you can use this current social media companies to get the people. It's like so funny. But these, ladies and gentlemen, these are the three categories, and they're three distinct end users, right? There's the direct sales world with our P3 system. That is patent pending, so nobody else can copy that software, and that is a game changer. And we've got videos that our Chief Marketing Officer, Mr. Frank Fausto, and David Dubbs, our Chief Content Officer, are amazing educational videos for these systems. But that's 125 million people that we really can only solve that equation because of the patent we put on the software. Then you get to all the people that had to jump into Zoom because there was just, there was only a couple companies during the pandemic that were capable of handling the world, right? To be able to keep communicating when we were all locked down. So that's Zoom. So I would think 10% of their marketplace is really low-hanging fruit. And then a lot of people, Tanya, they don't recognize we are a social media company as well. And the more we grow, then the more important that people would want to come here and talk to your community, right? Because your community is going to be full of entrepreneurs, trainers, educators, coaches, right? Authors, all kinds of very wise people. And people would want to connect, follow, and get information. Because remember, ladies and gentlemen, we are for the business community. And that's
especially getting in now, right? So that when they're hitting that wave, they're riding it, on top of it instead of being swallowed up like on the other platforms where you can't be seen because you're underneath the water.
And I saw one of the other big tech companies again put out another policy that's going to I got to watch what I say. It's a family show. Going to upset all the people that have a gun, right? And again, I'm not for or against it. I was in the military, so I've had all that I want out of that world. But they put out policies that is going to upset a couple 100 million people. It's kind of crazy. Okay, so pricing. Why did you go with this pricing structure?
We wanted to give something for everyone all across the world. And we wanted to always be affordable for everyone just to get going and do their business in one space. So that's one of the most important parts is let's just get business done.
Now, what you've put this together. So again, some people, if money's tight, you're only looking at the dollar amounts, and the people that are like where Brandon's come from, he's a tech guy. So he's looking at all the software packages you've put together. So like at the platinum level, which is $49.95, that's US, you get 500 attendees in your virtual meetings. You get to do all your social media to the world, but then you've got AI technology to find new leads. You can form group creations, both public and private. You can do live broadcasting shows, and then also the P3 system. That's a lot of software, but one step up is the Platinum Plus, and that's the Grand Poobah, because you've got 9 different software packages all rolled into one application, which of course is also the premium content. Now, you used to be the CEO of the Public Speakers Association, so I think you would kind of know more than 99% of the people on the planet what coaches and speakers need.
Yeah.
How important is premium content to these people?
I put everything that I wanted. If I was starting my business off, this is the stuff I would want to make it.
Okay, so you're saying it's all about you? Is that what you're saying?
Totally. Didn't you know that? But this is where the pain points over and over and over again with the people that I was surrounding myself with, what was their pain points, right? And then I wanted a solution for that. And then premium content, just like my friend Bill, the billionaire, he's like, you've got to create multiple income streams, and creating membership clubs that you're charging $5 a month or whatever amount you want. Everything is about residual, having a course that you can sell in the middle of the night when you're sleeping. These are the types of things that makes people secure as an entrepreneur, instead of just always trying to go out and find the next customer. You're building a business.
Well, we go to the opposite extreme, we go down to the free, the basic, and the pro. This is where the vast majority of the world is going to be here at BeeKonnected, and that's what you have to understand, ladies and gentlemen. These are the people trying to find their way. So 100 to 250 attendees is more than enough for them. But then we're combining the software so they can do their virtual calls, they can do their social media, they can get their AI technology for the leads. I'm in the pro section right here reading. And then the group creation. And that is a heck of a deal for under $20 US. So that's why it's kind of like the best value if you're just getting started in business. If you're like this other gentleman, when you told him it was $50 because we have a special going on right now, and he gets all 9 technologies, he's like, wait, what? Why would he say that? Well, this is what goes on if you are one of those people that do have a thriving business, and you are working with Kajabi, and you are a Zoom paid account, and let's say you need 1,000 attendees like he does. Let's add up what they charge. That's $638, not counting all the other things that we're not picking on, right? Which is if you don't have enough storage space, they're whacking you. You got to get different subscriptions. And this is if you can afford to pay for it all up front, right? For the whole year. Comes out to be $638 a month to our 50. And he was like, wait, what? So he was excited, right, Tanya, about what the P3 system could do for all of his people. And then he was waiting for it to be expensive.
Oh yeah, you could tell when you dropped the bomb about it only being $50. He couldn't even process it. You could see he was about to short circuit.
Now I'm harping on that because Ray obviously has done a great job finally getting through to the CEO, and of course he had his IT guy on and certain other people in his company, because these companies obviously always have lots of support, right? They have a financial, they got a CFO, a CTO, there's the whole alphabet, So the last part here, ladies and gentlemen, is the monetization. So you got to understand.
Oh, and his Cox cable has frozen. There you are. You're back.
So we want to talk about the monetization. So obviously we can go head to head with the other tech companies, but that's not where you wanted to take this company, right, Tanya? You wanted to give back a revenue stream.
Exactly.
And then it's amazing on how many people want to fight you, right? Oh, you're going to pay me, so now you have to be evil.
And I love what you always say. You're like, well, you don't have to take the money. We can keep the money.
Go donate it to a charity or something if that's the deal. Now because it's amazing. Like Robert Kiyosaki got famous for writing a book on how rich people think versus poor people, right? Rich dad, poor dad, the classic. And I did live in right outside of Hilo, Hawaii. That's the big island where Robert grew up, and he went to Hilo High. And I remember I pulled out the book and I started, talking about how great it was. And of course, the audience is from there, and they said, "Are you talking about Bob?" I never heard anybody call Robert Kiyosaki Bob. Like, you talking about Bob? We remember when he was a pimply faced teenager.
Right.
But he did write a masterpiece because his real dad was the poor dad. He waited 10 years to release the book out of respect for his father. But his real dad was the poor dad, and his best friend's dad was the rich dad, which was one of the richest people in Hawaii. And so he breaks it down very simply that you got one of 4 choices that people end up falling into as they grow up. A lot of people, 95% of the population, are on the left side in the E and the S quadrant, where they either have a job or they own a job. And that's where their thinking comes from. It's what gets them in trouble, is because there's no leverage. Now, in the B and the I quadrants, the business owners and the investors, they have leverage. So this is linear income versus residual income, leverage versus no leverage, and residual versus trading time for money. So I spent a vast part of the later part of my life, because I started out first off, I was in the military. And if you're enlisted, if you know what I'm talking about, we don't get rich. I get yelled at a lot, but definitely don't get rich. The B and the I quadrant is only 5% of the population, and it's different thinking. It's a different mindset. And the B quadrant is where you own a system and people work for you. or simply your money makes you more money. And that's what we decided to do. Now, before we get into this, and I don't care if you've been with us for a while or you're brand new, because this is leading into the 1% meeting we're going to be having next week. You have to understand, not everyone thinks the same based on what they do for a living. I break it into 3 simple categories. There are doers. That is the vast majority of the world. That is the nucleus of why the world goes round and round, and business is what it is. Someone has to do the work. These are the people that are the podcasters. They are the coaches. They are the trainers. They are the entrepreneurs. It is the Chamber of Commerce. They are the doers. That's the workers of the world. Now, there's no fault in any of this. It's just a chosen path. Number 2 is the recruiter. Now, this person doesn't want to do the work, but they have an amazing talent to go find the talent and bring them to the table. Then there's 3, the builders. The hardest one of all is the builder, because they're part doer, they're part recruiter, and then they're the rock when it comes to leadership. And so I eventually gravitated in my career building teams. Everybody always talks about how I flew around the world 50 some odd times. And yes, that is true. It's not because I wanted to. There wasn't any technology back in the day. So I had to fly to Nigeria. I had to fly to Rio. I had to fly to Japan and the Philippines, right? I had to fly to these different places to meet the people because there wasn't technology at the time. So if I had a do-over, I could have bought 2 castles on the hotel and the airfare that I spent my money on.
No doubt.
Okay, so multiple streams of income is the name of the game. And a lot of people freak out because they're used to being in the E or the S quadrant, which is you're trading time for money. So there's typically only one revenue stream. But yet the richest people are in the stock market. They're doing things that Kiyosaki outlines in the book. So when we broke this concept down, Tanya, you'd asked me to monetize this for the team because I used to own a direct sales company, so I understand different compensation strategies.
Right.
Now, we didn't want to become an MLM, even though we support the MLM world, because it's too much politics and you can't scale to where we're going if you're going to pay the money in multiple layers. So we decided to go to something very simple. Now, the A category is still part of the S category that I talked about. There's nothing wrong with being a solopreneur or a small business. As we've seen, how many young people have like 5 million or 10 million people on TikTok or Instagram?
Yeah.
And they want to monetize their following. So that's what the A category. And we've covered that enough, I think. We can just kind of pass over that to know that premium content. Now, the big news there is, remind the people how much of the premium content percentage you take.
Put in the chat if you know the answer. There you go. Colleen loves saying soon.
For my non-Thai speaking audience, soon is how you say 0. Okay, now the B category is a 2-tiered. 2. If you're trying to think it's a pyramid has 3 sides to it. This is 2 tiers. It's not. It's just you and one other people. So we pay 2 people for every membership, but only 2. I know so many people say they think it's MLM and then they ask for a 3rd tier to be offered. And I'm like, we're not going there. But that's the B quadrant. C quadrant is the platinum, VIP platinum. We'll kind of get into these just quickly because they're really simple to execute and understand. And D is then becoming an actual real equity partner. You get stock options. And that is the grand poobah, if you will. Okay, so if you're brand new with this, understand in a 2-tiered system, if you're an affiliate, first off, you only have to be platinum. And we've got a special right now. If you're platinum, we bump you up to platinum plus at no additional charge, and then you're grandfathered in. So that'll be permanent. So you'll be getting 50% off for life. And of course, then you can monetize your following. Now, if you end up bringing a person to BeeKonnected that's a free member, understand there's unlimited compression. That's why it's a tier, not a level. So that means that free person brings their following to BeeKonnected. Anybody upgrading, it could be one person that they bring, they could bring 1,000. Any of those 1,000 people upgrade, all the commission being generated goes to you. It passes through the free member because customers can't make money. And you're going to make between $1.30 up to $10 per subscriber per month. Now, what happens though in reality is if that starts to happen, that free customer wants to go and get their own monetization going on, right? They're like, wait, well, slow the phone there, John. Is Jane talking to John? It's like, that's my membership. That's my group. I want to monetize it. So they get to make the $1.30 to $10 for all the members from that moment they upgrade on. But John, because now that group becomes his second tier, he gets a match of whatever Jane's going to make. So this is a Zig Ziglar kind of moment, if you know who Ziggy is.
Right.
Ziggy always said, help enough people get what they want, you in turn will get what you want. So if John is assisting Jane and she's making $5,000 a month from BeeKonnected, he gets to make a matching $5,000. Now let's talk about Jane. Let's say Jane is going to go after, kind of be like Mighty Ma. She's not going to waste her time chasing individuals. She's going to go after the bigger clients, the Chamber of Commerce, the influencers, the direct sales companies. So remember, when these people go out, they already use this technology every day. They're the main people that use this technology every day, but they're using a combination of Zoom and Kajabi and LinkedIn and YouTube, and they're all over the map. They're going to find obviously a simpler, more affordable, more efficient platform. Jane's going to be able to match 100%. So let's do a quick example. And sometimes I throw the numbers up here, and sometimes I love what the Mighty Ma was saying. He goes, why not me?
Mm-hmm.
Right? They always start out with, oh, that can never happen. I don't have a big enough following. I don't have the big enough influence. And then she just started poking around on websites, and then she found people going, you know, I think she asked a question, would you like to monetize your following? And then, you know, I remember this kid shows up, he goes, yes, please.
Exactly.
And they're like, you know, and of course, when you look at him in the beginning, because I'm old and set in my ways, he's 22. Like, what could a 22 do?
Yeah.
He's got 3 million TikTokers and 2 million YouTubers. And I'm like, holy crap, 5 million people know this kid's name?
Exactly.
What was I doing wrong? But here's an example. Let's say it's 1/10 of that. Let's say you have an influencer that you bring on board, because that's like the guy that you were talking about from Armenia. He has about 500,000 on his social media following.
Right.
Now, remember, Ma only found him. She's not going to have to do the work. He already has the following. He already has the want and the desire, and he's the one that YouTube's taking half his money. So let's say he doesn't go completely all in, but he gives us a taste. He gives us a chance, and we only convert 1%. 1%. This is on his first tier, by the way. He gets paid 2 tiers. We're only talking about his first tier. Okay. Then he makes $25,000 a month residually. Now, this is not counting his monetization money from premium content. So he's going to make double the money in premium content, right? Because YouTube takes half, you take none. So he doubles his upfront money, and then he has a revenue stream that he's not getting right now, which would be $25,000 a month. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you might have heard this story several times. Let me ask you something. If you landed just one account and it paid you an extra $250,000 a year, would you think about doing anything different with your time? Now, again, why is this foreign to most people? Because this is the B quadrant. It doesn't exist in the I and the S quadrant. It's a different way of thinking. It's a different strategy. Now, unless you think all big businesses are evil, then that is just part of the norm.
Right.
But there's a reason why only 5% of the companies out there, people out there, do it, is because it's hard to create one. Which I told you, Tanya, right? Remember, 1% chance.
It's like, let's do it.
You said yippee.
Okay, I did.
All right, so my question, because we're going to talk about this on the 1% Club, how many accounts like this do you need before you're free? So put in the chat, 1, 2, 5. Some of you might want to buy a helicopter. I don't know. No, I can't see the chat because I got the full screen in front of me.
2, 12, 1 to 2, 12, 12.
Now, this is residual income. Residual income, remember, you're not having to get up and go to work every day. You can go sit and have a second Starbucks like I'm going to after this meeting. Right? You have more time freedom. Okay, now the bonus pool, we've said this several times. Now, this is the I quadrant, and this should only be if you have discretionary income, because this takes time. But again, the dividends are huge long term. As Kiyosaki says, he breaks money into two categories. He says the things that you buy are either a liability or they're an asset. Now, the simple definition, according to Kiyosaki, is liabilities eat you, assets feed you. And I don't want to be eaten, so I want assets. Okay, so again, in the cash flow quadrant, we're in the I quadrant, the I category, and so this is how you can earn some of the profits that BeeKonnected creates in its memberships. We take 10% of all of our membership sales, the net profits, and we set that aside to the VIP Platinum members. Now, it is a small group of people. There is only 1,000 units that was created in this pool. And that's all there is. There's not going to be 1,001, 1,010. It's 1,000. So here's how it works. The pool being 10% with the 1,000 units I explained, each unit cost, that's a physical cost of 2,500 USD. That's the downside. The positive side then is all the profits you're going to earn now and into the future, paid to you quarterly. And the most important one, if you understand it or not, is there's no production quota. So there's no leverage fighting against you. You don't have to perform to receive, right? You don't have to be a rock star. Once all the units are allocated, the pool is closed and the pool cannot be diluted. Now, do I have my counts right?
Nope. Now it's 36.
Well, remember, we started with 1,000. So
Exactly.
now we're down to, because I always get I don't get the memo at all. What are you kidding me? Well, there's 36 units left. Now, it was closed before, but we had a guest on the other week, and they were the biggest owner of units in the Platinum pool, and they surrendered them back to become an actual true investor. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Finishing it up this week.
And they put in multiple six figures as an investor. And then that's why there's 36 units available. Now, what does that mean? So you own a unit. Well, how's that translate into profit? Well, again, you have to be drinking the Kool-Aid like the rest of us, knowing that with Frank Fausto's help, all these amazing people on the show today, the technology is out there. Is 1 million people a big number to you? Knowing that Zoom has 300 million, Kajabi has 85 million, so LinkedIn has 1 billion. Is 1 million a lot? I don't know. I don't think that way. I know Fausto doesn't think that way. The Google guy is like, oh, okay, that's the first benchmark, right?
Exactly.
So 1 million, then 5 million, then 10 million. So when we're in those categories of upgraded subscribers, let's say you own 2 units in the bonus pool. Now remember, there's only 36 units left, and some of you have units that are listening here today. That means the journey is sooner or later, you're going to be getting a $600 monthly payment. Then it'll be $6,000. Then you'll wake up one day and it'll be $30,000. And then one day you'll wake up and you have $60,000 a month coming in. And what are you doing for your money?
Hopefully smiling.
Well, I could say, what are you doing with your money? I don't know.
Right.
Now, let's say you're like some of the other people, like I know Brandon has got, how many, I don't know if it's appropriate to say, but he has more than 10.
Yes, he owns 4% of the entire bonus pool.
Okay, so let's just say it's 10. Well, in that same category, when he wakes up, when we're at 10 million members, he has 300,000 a month in passive residual income. Yeah, ooh is right. Somebody ought to hit that button again. I like that button more than anything. Now, is that crazy talk? I don't know. What really crazy talk is what you decided to do is let 20 people become equity partners without spending any money.
Exactly.
Well, that's kind of a half truth. You have to be a platinum member. Thank you. You think the guy that named everything would remember what I called it? So these are the first 20 affiliate partners to reach 10,000 total team members. Now you see the asterisk there next to the 10,000, that means you can do it one of three ways. You could do it by your own personal following, or you could be like what Mighty Ma is doing, and she's finding influencers, and because it's all team driven here, their volume becomes her volume. The catch is she can only use half of somebody's following if it goes beyond 10,000. In other words, you can only use 5,000 of the 10,000. So it'd take two people instead of one if you're building a team or a combination thereof. Now, regardless of that, when you become one of the 20, and this is wide open now, because remember, the real BeeKonnected started on the 15th of last month, right? The final BeeKonnected, and it's still in its last couple of weeks of beta. So it's really this the starting line for the big companies rolling in now. Because do you think the gentleman, you think Ray is excited about becoming VIP Elite, knowing his first customer has over 1 million affiliates?
I think so, especially every text message and email we get.
So when we're at 1 million paid members, according to...
Oh, and he'll be right back. Your cox got stuck.
So when we're at 1 million paid members, now remember, I just said one client that has 1 million. That's one. Remember, there's 7 million people on TikTok just in America that are monetizing their business. So we're talking about onesie twosies. But when we're at 1 million, according to the bankers and lawyers that do evaluations, they said BeeKonnected would be worth about approximately $2 billion. Now, if you own just 0.1% of a tech company, this is pre-IPO, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what your level of education in when it comes to the stock market and how all these things work. This is pre-IPO. 0.1% is worth $2 million. But if I have it my way, which there's a good chance that'll be that way, I would want to do an IPO at 10 million. That means all of these people have to add a zero to their stock value.
I'm sure they'll appreciate that extra zero.
It's like when you overpay the IT department an extra. We'll bring that up. Good on me as it is. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so there's 3 types of people, right? The first person is like, no thanks, this is not my cup of tea, this doesn't resonate with me. We thank you for your time here today. Second kind of person says, yeah, man, I want to try this out. You know, remember, you can start for free. You can start for free and put your toe in the water. And then the third person says, oh, this is awesome. Maybe that same person keeps hitting the ooh button, right? You might want to be a beta user and take advantage of the free upgrade to Platinum Plus from Platinum. In the beginning, I thought that was real people in the background laughing, by the way. I need to catch up a little more. Okay, now we have a button on the bottom down there that you put. It's different from last time because we have a blitz going on right now. There's multiple presentations that go off about every hour on the hour around the world. So you can tap, put your connections in, and they get a live overview of BeeKonnected for 10 to 15 minutes at a shot. But what is this 1% thing, that tab down there?
So I think it was a while back, and I just kind of threw out there that wouldn't you love to be part of the inner circle of JR's team? And everyone's like, yes, me, please. So that's how it started.
Well, it starts with everybody wanting to join, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to, meet certain criteria, because time is the one thing, again, I said earlier, money can't buy. And when people are bringing us clients with 5 million, 500,000, 1 million clients, that's where you got to focus your energy if you're trying to win the prize, right? You're trying to get the trophy, trying to become the blue ribbon winner. Is when I built my direct sales teams, which went into the hundreds of thousands of people, there's one of you and hundreds of thousands of them, right? So you have to pick your battles wisely. It doesn't mean you're cold-blooded. It just means you're focused.
Right.
So we're about to do a trajectory. You see the graphs, and then you noticed in the graphs it starts to go like this. And when it goes like this, you only have time to work with the A students. Actually, I take that back. You only have time to work with the A+ students.
Right.
Now, we offer training to everybody. We do shows, we put out videos, we put out content. It's like the Google Channel Partner Program. that our CMO created for Google. Everyone gets training, but if you want to be personally mentored and personally get the information, like I got way back in the day, and then I immediately started making more money in a month than I made in a year, my mindset completely changed. And I'm not saying I'm important or I'm all that. I'm just saying for me as an individual, when you receive a year's worth of income in 30 days, it changes you.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you're making more money than most people make in a lifetime in a year. And it changes you because you're like, why would I want to do that? And somebody laughed at me the other day, said, when's the last time you do laundry? I said, well, I just go buy more clothes. Now, don't get mad at me. I'm a single guy here in America. If I was back home, I have other people to help me out there. So that's my attempt at humor, by the way. I know I just probably made a lot of people mad. That's so rude. It's just easier to shop than go down and put soap in a machine. And it's more fun. Which, by the way, is where I'm going after this call is over. Okay, so we have a 1% club. You're all welcome at this stage of the game, but there's rules that you have to bring in so many paid members. The magic number is 12. And if you don't know where that number comes from, go pick up the good book and find out how many disciples there were. You'll find out that the formula for success was written a couple thousand years ago. And 12 became billions. And there wasn't Google, by the way. or YouTube. Or even a telephone.
Right.
They networked. Yeah, word of mouth. Most powerful is, and always will be the most powerful form of advertising. Is a satisfied customer will bring you other satisfied customers.
Always.
Which is why at this stage, ladies and gentlemen, we're offering all these bag of goodies because we want to reward the people that build the base. The early adopters, they are the ones, they're going to get the bonus pool units, get the stock options, and then the rest of the world can participate, but then that's what is called an IPO, initial public offer, and then that's where money comes in from all over the world buying stock. And then if you own the original stock, it goes through the roof, and now your money is not only making you money, your money is accelerating massively. Now, it's not to take away how much money you're going to make in premium content if you're a coach, a trainer, an author. It's not taking away the two-tiered residual. Can you imagine when a real influencer gets a taste of this and starts making $50,000 a month, $100,000 a month? You think they're going to keep it to themselves? Knowing that they can override the next influencer's entire organization as well? Because remember, every time you're bringing someone in, their following is your second tier. Now, there is no third tier, and there never will be, so don't ask.
What was it that you came up with yesterday? If you don't talk to them now, you wrote it down.
No, I didn't write it down.
It was so good.
I said something to the tune, you are the first to know. No. I got to go back and think about it. I'll have it ready for the 1% club, but it was a brilliant thing. And I knew I should write this down. And then I got real cocky and I said, no, I don't have to. I made it up. And now he called me out on it. I'm like, I should write it down.
It happens.
Look, we're just average. We're just normal entrepreneurs. There's no average. And Tanya is definitely not qualified for average. And he's imagine this. She's crazy. She's funny, but she's brilliant. And a lot of times people miss that. So, and I know you're hearing it sounds like I'm pandering to you, but that, ladies and gentlemen, is the God's honest truth. Very intelligent, but she's so funny. A lot of times people miss that. And me, I'm just an old jarhead, right? So I got to name the company, which is why it's spelled wrong. BeeKonnected with the K, because people are always like, why is it spelled wrong? I said, well, it just depends on who you ask. I think it's fine.
Hey, your last name is Reed.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have gone a little bit overboard here today, but the whole point of the Saturday calls is for you to be able to allow you to get informed on the latest information. And also, number two, is to bring anybody new to the party that might have seen some videos, gone to the website, and wants to hear from the actual principal people